Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the Evolution Podcast. We are your hosts, Mark and Markel.
Yeah.
You may know us as musicians, singers, father and son, or you may not know us at all. We created this podcast to open eyes and give our perspective on the most taboo topics. The Evolution Podcast starts now. Dad, what's good, pimp?
What's good, son?
Man, everything Gucci, everything good, man. How
Yeah,
you doing, man?
Man, everything's good, man. We ready to get this thing moving, doing what we do, son.
Yeah. As Country Wayne say, you feel me? Man, Dad, let's jump into this. You ready?
Yeah, let's jump right on
You
in,
sure
son.
you ready, Dad?
I'm ready. I'm
it's
ready.
juicy today, man.
I'm ready. I'm
Man,
ready.
this is our first podcast today, man. This
Number
is our
one,
first.
baby.
And we are so excited to get into this. And I want y'all to understand and know who we are outside of this musicianship. And the topic today is, why should musicians get paid?
Ooh, that's sweet, that son.
Let me know
Why
something,
should
Daddy.
musicians
Yeah,
get paid? That's
Yeah.
Hey, I like this topic already.
yeah. So man, it's gonna get real spicy up in here because I really
Super
want
spicy.
to.
Yeah,
I really want to dive into, hey, why do we are musicians, right, Dad?
that's it. That's it, son.
And for the people who know us, we do it. You feel me? Okay, you know what I'm saying? So,
That's true.
man, why should musicians get paid?
That's it.
All right, Dad. So what you got, Dad? Let me know something.
Well, I tell you what, this is a topic that I have about 25 years in. And
Yeah.
So this is a great topic and something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah,
So this is a very important topic, to be
it
honest
is.
with you.
It is.
So when we look at the fact of why musicians need to get paid,
Let me know something.
well, I was thinking, son, about a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's time and service that's put into this.
Dad, on my notes had the same thing, Dad. I ain't lying.
They
Ain't
say
lying.
great minds
You
think
feel
alike,
me?
Doc.
Yeah.
But you got to look at the time and service that goes into
That's
what
true.
we do.
Yeah.
So it's more than just sitting down to the piano, the organ, drums, bass, or whatever particular instrument you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the time that you don't see them. That's the behind the scene.
True.
The hours upon hours and hours that's spent just working on your craft to get it to a point to where you can play.
Yeah.
So those things you have to really take into consideration in regards to when it comes into money
That is true.
and compensation. And so you look at time, and also when I look at service, is how committed you are to where you are and what you're doing.
True.
So it's amazing. I started playing back in the 90s,
Ooh, Dad, don't tell your age. Don't tell your age. Don't tell your age, Dad. Don't tell your age.
and things were really different then. I started out as a drummer,
Yeah.
and I remember growing up in a little holiness church, little small holiness church, and
On
we would
Peanut
just
Hill.
play on Peanut Hill.
Yes, sir, dog.
Yeah, Peanut here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
And I remember how we were just excited just to play.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, for years, I didn't even know what compensation was.
True.
We just played.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way that it was. We were just excited. Everybody had their little drumsticks in their hand, anticipating getting the opportunity to play. And that's just the way that it was.
Yeah.
And so for years, that's just the way that it was.
Man, Dad, I was looking at now. I know you said in 1990s. First off, I wouldn't even thought about. That's the first
true,
thing.
That's true.
But not only that, man, it's just a simple fact of now what we have is my age, which is 18. Man, it's not about service no more.
Yeah.
It's about the not only time, but man, it's about the money.
Yes.
If you ain't paying, you ain't slaying. You ain't getting in there. You know what I'm saying?
I can
And I say
understand that.
ain't because we Alabama. So and this how we
understand.
talk that little slang. If you ain't paying, you're not getting me.
Yeah.
You're not, and it's very, man, the musicianship here is very so little. It's almost, you can't find nobody here. So the people that you do have, it's just like if you're not getting money, what are we giving? So not only that, it's just I really want to understand why musicians, the main part of why musicians should get paid. Because, man, time and service, we both had that down. And I'm trying to see why churches don't understand that time and service is what we should get paid for. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I look at it in two dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
you have the musician and what the musicians and what they're supposed to do, and then the church has a responsibility.
Yes, absolutely.
And so it's finding that delicate balance between the two.
True.
You know, like I was telling you, I came up in a time where, you know, I would tell musicians for years, there's nothing wrong with having playing the piano, organ, or whatever you do. But I've always been up under the mindset of, okay, this is what we're doing now, but always have a job.
Right.
That's just always been my thing, to make music my girlfriend, really not the wife.
Yeah, I feel that.
Because, you know, things can go up, things can go down. Even in your personal business, it can happen that way.
True.
But when we look at, you know, from a musical standpoint and dealing with churches, sometimes you have things to go on. And so you want to be in a part of a situation to where you still always have flexibility, you know. And sometimes that flexibility comes with, hey, I got to keep my 9 to 5 or whatever I need to do and work afterward. But I know now dynamics and things have changed now from when I was really doing it like that. So things have changed. So there is a responsibility. There is truly a responsibility, and it's a balance. You know, I tell musicians all the time that if a church can pay you, then you need to tithe back to that church.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a balance. Yes, the church has a responsibility. They need to take care of you. They need to compensate you. They need to do the things that need to be done. But at the same time, you make sure as a musician that you're doing what you need to do. Hey, listen, give back. Give back. And that's how we keep this thing moving forward. And, you know, churches have their responsibility too now, because it's a balance. I've been in situations and times to where, you know, listen, and in this game, sometimes you get the short end of the stick. You know,
you definitely get got. You try to play it, dude.
Yeah.
You get got. You get got.
You know, sometimes that has happened, you know, and but then also, too, I always look at, too, you know, you have to look at why we doing what we do and the reason that we do what we do.
True.
You know, and so you have to keep that at the forefront that, hey, it's not just about money, but there is a compensation aspect to this thing. Yeah. And so we have to keep the balance, because it can go either way. On some part of it, you can spend a lot of time dealing with the money aspect, and then sometimes you can be on the other side where you just work, and not looking at the money and all the time you're spending, and you can get used that way as well. Yeah.
Man, that first off sidebar, man, you just went ham for a second. I ain't gonna lie to you, but then you got that TD Jakes Transformation Church hold on that mic.
Yes, sir.
Hey, he holding that mic like he finna get ready to preach his first sermon.
Get ready.
That's that white. Never mind. You keep it like that.
I love TD Jakes, man. Cool guy.
But so that ask me something, man, because I know you got some in your arsenal, man. But the black church, as we just said, man, it's so hard to get paid and get paid your worth. You just said time and experience.
Yes.
Time, experience, and service. So, man, it's very, very much so hard for us to get especially what we need. And musicians who are doing this full time, I can only my heart goes out for them.
Yes.
Especially the people who actually put in time and put in work behind their craft, and they still not getting paid, or they still not getting paid their worth. And then we still have to catch the short end of the stick sometimes. You go to gigs and, they talking about let's pay you 2 weeks after. But, man, my bills is next week.
That's true.
What can I do about that?
That's true.
And that's why I feel like churches now, I know for sure churches now, they talking about, hey, this why are you not coming at 10 o'clock when the church started at 10 o'clock? Man, I'm tired from my gig. Because you know why? Because I'm not getting paid what I should.
And it's funny that, you know, you would kind of segue into that.
Yeah, that.
Because, you know, when we look at it, there was a time when we call it the secular. You know, you can't go play for the secular or in the secular scene. Yeah. But it was amazing. And don't get me wrong, I was in that point to where, you know, hey, you don't need to play in the secular scene if you're playing in the church.
True.
But also, too, if the church can't compensate you for what you're doing, you got to still make your money. It's still a balance, because bills are due, light is due,
it don't stop.
Water is
on the first.
Right, and you can go to the power company and start shouting and falling out, foaming at the mouth. They want that money.
No. You all that shining light. Hey, keep that.
Yeah, there's still gonna be $400 for your power bill when you get up.
Hey, what that money?
Right.
You
So
feel me?
right. So
Yeah.
there is a balance. There is a balance in this thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, you have to make sure that we're truly balancing this thing out.
Yeah.
And that's why, I watched this video
Show me something.
by the guy, a name of his Terrence Fisher.
Educate them.
And we'll put it down in the screen for you there. His name is Terrence Fisher. And so he kind of went all across the nation, California, Houston, New York, Chicago,
Okay.
he just kind of Florida, and just kind of got a middle of the road, of what musicians need to be paid. And it was amazing. I'm just kind of want to read a little bit of this off.
Go ahead.
So he was talked about how in some churches they hire vocalists. I mean, that's just the time that we live in.
Right.
Not everybody can sing. Let's just go on this look.
Oh,
Not everybody can sing.
drop the ball.
Hey, listen, you're pitch dead. We don't need you leading the
Hey,
service.
Dad, make sure you look at the camera when you say that.
Please, please. You horse. Every Sunday you horse. No, you can't sing. They just tell it to you can't sing.
Hey.
Leave it alone.
It's not-
You need to get on the Ursha ministry, the children's ministry,
Hey, yo.
or something like that. But please, praise is what you do, but music is not what you do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Get it out there.
So
Yes, sir.
So, with that being said, he kind of broke it down. I really like what he did. So he said for a vocalist, from a year to 5 years, they were paid between $50 and $75. 10 years, been in the game about 10 years, about $100 a week. 15 years, about $200 a week. 20 years or more, about $300 a week. So when we looked at the guitars, lead guitars, for 1 to 5 years, about $100. 10 years, $150. 15 years, $250, and then in 20 years, $400. Bass players was comparable. It was about $150, and then 10 years was $200. 15 years, $300, and 20 years, $450.
Okay.
Drums was $150. 10 years, $250. 15 years, $325. 20 or more, you're looking at about $450. Now, when it came down to the organ and the keyboard, it kind of depended on what region you were in, because there are some regions where the organ is more dominant,
Yes.
whereas the organ player would get more because that's more of the lead instrument in some churches. But now what you have the music called like CCM and things of that nature, they are more keyboard dominant versus the organ.
True.
So it kind of depends on the area. There are some areas where they just got you. I don't care how well you play the piano, you got to be able to get on top of that organ and get down on it.
If you can't, you get off of it.
Yeah. You're just not going to make the highest pay if you can't play the organ. That's just the way it goes. But now with organs being so expensive, and a lot of music now is really simplified. It's not, especially with this music nowadays. It's not complicated at all. 1-4-5-1 type of thing.
Yeah.
So,
but the musicians out there, y'all know what we're talking about.
You know what we're talking about. You know what we're talking about. So it's really basic.
Yeah.
But it's but that's more keyboard dominant. So he broke those down. So for 1 year to 5 years, you're looking at about $250. 10 years, you're looking at about $300. 15 years, $400. 20 years or more, about $500 a week.
Okay.
And then keyboard players, it was pretty close. You're about $250. 10 years, you're looking about $325 a week. 15 years, $400, and then if you go over into the 20 year, you're looking at about $500. So they're pretty close as far as pay, and that's kind of in the middle of the road. He had like 4%. He was showing how there are some positions, like we were going to talk about the MDs, the music directors or minister of music. He began to talk about those. You had some, it was like 4%. They were making $4,000 and $5,000 a Sunday. Yeah. We're in a place where the preacher don't make that much.
Yeah, no cap.
So don't even worry about the musicians getting there.
Man, but I also looked at the same video, Dad, but I didn't write down notes. But one thing I did hear was musicians in that video, the MDs, they were MDing over, let's just say 3 churches. and they was getting 4,000.
Right.
And then they might not be doing everything because they probably hired people in that that space for them,
Right.
but they still have to oversee.
Right.
And it's almost that. It's not almost MD, and I call it administration. That's kind of what you do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Not kind of. This is what you do.
Yeah, but there comes a point when you do more of the admin. Now, true, because of us, we're living in a smaller town.
Yeah.
And so we still play. So we have to play and administrate.
And be the MD.
And be the MD. That's
Right.
just kind of what we have to do because of the resources that we have. And that's
sure.
another thing you have to look at. Okay, what type of resources are actually coming into the church?
Yeah.
The church size.
Yep.
So there are a lot of different factors that factor into that number. And so, you really have to look at, what can this church, what can they afford,
Yeah.
And then, if it's just a 2-piece, what I mean by 2-piece is just a drummer and an organist,
or a
or,
keyboard.
like if we have a 7:00 service and we have a 6-piece band.
6 pieces.
So,
6 pieces.
yeah.
In
so,
Tuscaloosa.
In Tuscaloosa. Roll Tide.
Come on now.
Roll Tide.
Come on now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So when we look at that, we have to, and let me give a shout out to Reverend Richard L. Morgan and the Merge Church for having a 6-piece band at 7 a.m. every Sunday in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Roll Tide, baby.
Roll Tide. Roll with the tide.
So I am grateful.
Yeah.
I am grateful, to have this opportunity. But at the same time, it's still a balance to it.
It is.
It's a balance to it, and yes, each place, from the church to the musicians, we all have a responsibility.
Yeah.
I was thinking earlier, I was talking to my son, and I was telling my son, I remember the day, in my day, we never signed contracts. I would meet with the church, the body. They would have us to come in, and we would play for the choir and play for the church. And the only thing we did back in the day was handshake. This was your contract. This was all you had to do.
That's true.
Hey, Mark, we want you to do X, Y, and Z. And shout out to, even though the deceased Reverend W.J. Sankey.
Yeah.
But that's in the Friendship Missionary Baptist Church in Brighton, Alabama.
Okay, call them all the way out.
Yeah, man, listen, that's my old stomping ground.
Yeah.
And so all we would do, they told us what they wanted from us. We told them what we needed from them, and we just shook hands on it, and that was it.
Right.
There were no elaborate contracts and things of that nature, but time has changed.
Yeah.
And I was telling my son, I said, that was a time. That's all you had to do.
Yeah.
Just 2 men, they come together. Hey, we talk about it. Yes, sir. No, sir. And then also, too, you had to take into account that those ministers, man, they were not only were your ministers, they were like your father.
Yeah.
Kind of like, the love I have for you.
Looked out for you, for
They're
sure.
going to look out for you. They weren't trying to get over on you. They weren't really only trying to bless you, help you spiritually, help you financially, help you to develop.
Right.
So at that time, those were really, really good things. But I understand now those dynamics have changed. The type of ministers that were in that time, we still have a few like that now, but from a business standpoint, things have changed.
Yeah, it has.
Now you have to have contracts.
You know why? Because
Why?
most of these preachers is be shady.
Well,
They be shady. They don't stand on their word, and a handshake is nothing now. If you don't have it in text, you don't have it in email, and you don't have it in a contract, you cannot stand beside it. And it's sad, but it's true. I know you finna say that. It's sad, but it's true, Dad. So what I have to do now, I have to make sure that contract is in play, and everything that I need in that contract and want for myself to be the best me and possible me I can be for that. Not only the church, but be with God. I don't want to come in church and be upon a contract so heavy to where I'm not giving God his praise. We just talked about the service. Man, you got to understand who the service is for. It's not for y'all. Because people really have demons inside of them that sometimes preaching don't do it. The music gets them before the preacher because they can walk out for the preaching. Nobody want to hear our worst sermon and the music is not there. I've been seeing that, and I don't know if it's been an ongoing thing, but man, music brings people together.
It does. And the word is what keeps them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that music, man, especially when you begin to lift him and to praise him and to
Yeah.
worship, it sets the atmosphere.
Man, and I feel like for sure feel like that music gives you a certain vibe, a certain emotion when you play certain chords and you play certain things, bass lines, lead lines.
That's true.
It does something to you.
That's
Period.
true.
I'm
That's
talking about if you're an atheist, a Christian, whatever Christianity you are, whatever you have going on,
That's true.
it's something that music connects all of us.
It does.
You know what I'm saying?
It does. But now I do understand why it's important.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day that when I used to do revivals, I didn't have to worry about if the situation was taken care of.
Yeah.
I knew, like I said, I'm going to give another shout out to Reverend Sank and so many other great ministers. Pastor Ball, I mean, I can just go down the line.
Don't know.
But Bishop Craig, you know,
Yeah,
I can just go down the line. So, but I remember how I never worried about if things were taken care of because they were men of integrity. So
men and women of integrity.
Men and women. Let me see you correct. You're totally correct. And those things were taken care of. I didn't have to wonder, Friday, if they would, without fail. Hey, Brother Mark, come on in and say, here you go, here's your money. And it was, you were fine because they really did a good job of taking care of you, where nowadays, you got to have pretty much everything written out. I'm just telling you, musicians, if you're doing revivals, if you're doing whatever other activities outside of your with the Wednesday night service and your Sunday night, whatever part of your contract,
Sunday morning, yeah.
If they pick adding a 8 o'clock service and an evening service, I mean, you really now have to really just
map out everything.
You have to. I mean, that's just the bottom line. I mean, it's just business, and then that way now, it really cuts out the gray area.
And it puts you in the clear also.
Right. Listen, I know what's expected of me, and you know what's expected of you.
Matter of fact, I just thought about this. You remember when I was cutting your hair? Oh, I cut his hair now. Y'all see that Steve Harvey? Y'all see that Steve Harvey?
That's my boy.
You know what I'm saying?
That's my boy. Yeah, get in there.
Yeah, but man, as I was cutting your hair, Dad, we was talking about the musicians, right? And we was just talking about how musicians and their pay. We already said that already. But it's, man, with this integrity, man, how everything is just like, why is it so hard to be upfront and honest? I was cutting your hair, that I was like, man, this integrity thing goes really deep, because people don't have it now, and if they do, it's like a hidden gem that we got to go find and dig.
I mean, that is true. You know, I've been fortunate to, for the most part, you know, I've had guys that I've worked with, ministries, churches, that I haven't had to, you know, it's been a good situation where people, they stood on business.
Stood on their business. Stand on business.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, I really didn't have to have to go there. But nowadays, it's just the way of the times. You know, you got to just be on top of it. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I think that it's better at this particular point that you put everything in writing. Because, you know, I've had situations to where, you know, it's just best to put things in writing. It just kind of cuts out the gray area.
Yeah.
That's just the time, you know, that those days, I hate to say this, but those days are gone. You know, those days are gone with just a handshake. And so, you know.
Yeah, talking about the middleman, I was just thinking about that.
Hold on 1 second, son. I want to give you a little shout out.
Give me some.
Hey, subscribers, make sure you like and subscribe this channel.
Subscribe.
Hey, it's our goal to grow this channel to 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And with your help.
With your help.
With who help? Your help.
Yes, sir.
Hey, look, we need you, baby. We need you. We want you.
Subscriber
so please
alert.
Hit the like.
Yes, sir.
And subscribe to us, man. We need you. We need you. So come on in, because we need you, okay?
Show your love through the comments also.
Yeah, we need all the love we can get. You know, hey, just like I love my son and my son loves me.
Absolutely.
We want that love from you as well.
Absolutely, man. Not only that, man. Tell them folks on Apple Podcasts. Hey, subscribe. Put our ratings down there. I want y'all to understand that we're trying to build this up. This is our first episode.
Number one, because one day we will be number one.
On top, for sure, because who is our father? This is my father, but I have another father.
Boy, you better
that
preach.
Is higher than high.
I preach. I feel a little offering coming. I feel a little offering coming. Boy, you preaching now. Go ahead on, Bishop.
Hey, I feel an offer coming.
Wait a minute. Hold on, brother.
But, man, I have a father that's...
tuition. I can't pay no more money.
have a father that is higher than high. So if we put him first in anything that we do,
Yes, sir.
hey, I feel like we will shoot to the top. So man, what you about to say other than that, Daddy?
Yeah, no, but that's but so I was looking at too. That's why it's so important, that to make sure you have some contractual agreements and things of that nature in place, and it really just cuts out the gray area. I'm just gonna tell you nowadays, it's sad to say, but those times of just the old school handshake, and that's the way I came in the game, just shaking hands, and a man stood on it, his word, or a woman stood on their word. Those days are, it's sad to say they're gone.
Yeah.
So we have to understand the time and dynamics that we're living in. And then also too, we were talking about, hey son, we were talking about the secular. Yeah, it was amazing, so they were, when I was coming up, they were like, you don't do that.
Certain thing you do in church, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a crazy thing. But I would go and practice and learn Miles and Coltrane because I love that style of music to implement it inside of what I was doing in the church. And so I just my whole perspective has changed on that because you have weddings, you got anniversaries, people are touring, touring and things of that nature. I know that, Markel, I know that you're going to be touring with different artists and things of that nature because God has given you that skill set. But at the same time, we have to, still a balance. It's still a balance, and we have to do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
So,
Man, I feel like you need to go around to the front door, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man. So, Dad, it definitely is a balance with the secular music. And Dad, hold on. This is us being completely raw and uncut. Man, we are doing this. This is our first podcast, and it's at our crib. This is our house.
Yeah.
So this house, this nice house that we sitting in, this couch is ours. so
to
man,
God be the glory and paid for.
Like, shade. So man, we like I said, this is our first podcast. We're just trying to get everybody. I'm talking about everybody under compliance.
Yeah.
With everybody running in and out of this room.
Yeah.
But this neither here or there. But Dad, going back to secular music, man. Hey, secular music. I feel like now. It's more in church than it ever will be. If not, it's going to continue to grow. Man, everything that we do now, Dad, is from secular music.
Well, if you think about it, even a lot of the gospel riff comes from blues.
Man, Dad, everything.
Yeah, and actually, I think nowadays, it's imperative that you be able to play different styles and different genres of music.
Yeah. You have
because
to.
if you don't, man, you'll be
stuck. Yeah. We just talked about y'all.
Yeah.
We just talked about how the church is not paying.
Yeah.
So you really gonna be stuck playing church, and the only thing, if the church is not paying, you finna stress them out because you try to bribe them for everything, milk them, and then once you get to that point, you're really not in the aspect of worshiping God because you're talking about, hey, let's get this check. Yeah. It's not looking at as it from a service perspective.
Yeah, and and it's important to make sure that we don't, for me. And and like I said, I've been doing this a long time. For me, I never had to worry about the money aspect because I feel like if you keep practicing and you putting in that time behind the scene, opportunities will come.
Floodgates.
It's to the point to even now. I work a lot, and a lot of times now I just send my son. And he'll put the band together. I don't really go as much as I used to anymore. Because I am very busy. But opportunities have always presented themselves for me, and I really didn't have to. You don't have to be with any type of groups or cliques. Just do you and practice and put in your time with your craft. Yeah. The doors are open for you.
It is.
The Bible talks about how your gift will make rooms for you,
and it does.
And then not only at the top.
Yeah.
And I've truly had the opportunity to experience that. So that has truly been a blessing. Yeah. So that's why I say it's a balance in that thing, And if you do what you need to do, everything will work itself out.
I feel as such, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, Dad. Man, this podcast is going so great, but I want to leave the people on a hanger. Yeah. I really do, because if we give you everything, there's nothing else to come back to listen to.
That's it.
Hey, man, this is our podcast. This is me and my father, Mark and Markel, and we are out. Blessings.
Peace. We love y'all.